Hi friends, how are we today? How is everybody? I have missed you guys. I know I was on quite a long break. Life just gets in the way sometimes. I've been very busy and quite stressed and haven't had a whole lot of time or energy or inspiration to be making ASMR videos. But I asked you guys for some ideas. You guys had great ideas that I'm definitely going to, I'm gonna do several of them. I really appreciated that. Thank you very much. But this past weekend, I went to the Warped Tour 30th anniversary festival. I went to Warped Tour quite a bit as a teenager, and they had a DC date for the 30th anniversary sort of revival. There's only 3 dates. There's one in Orlando, one in Long Beach, and one in DC that just happened this past weekend. I actually took off work today because I knew I was gonna be just absolutely going this weekend, and I got back to Philly at about 1 a.m. last night. So I thought that I would sort of tell you about my experience with that. We will unpack my festival bag. I have not unpacked it yet. It is full of stuff. And take a look at some of the things that I picked up at Warped Tour, things that I got, tell you a little bit about it. And then in upcoming videos, I'll do y'all's ideas, okay? So, the first thing that I'm gonna show you, I got this t-shirt. It's kind of hard to read, but it says Scowl. Scowl was a band that was playing at Warped Tour, and they are a female-fronted band, and I really do my best to support as many female-fronted bands at Warped Tour as I possibly can. So, yeah, if you don't know, Warped Tour is a alternative music fest. It's generally thought of as pop punk, but there's a lot of genres there. Pop punk, just punk, metal, all sorts of varieties of rock music and punk music. And yeah, it was so fun. It was huge. So it was at the RFK Festival Grounds in DC, and I always went to a tour in Columbia, Maryland at a very different sort of venue, and it had much less people. There were just so many people there, and Saturday was so humid. Everybody got so sunburned. I saw so many sunburned tattoos, including mine. I don't really know if you can still see it because I put a lot of aloe on it, but I'm usually really on top of getting sunscreen on my tattoos because I don't want to ruin them. And yeah, I messed up on Saturday. Sunday was nice and cool. It was like 65 degrees all day and cloudy, and it was really good festival weather. So start with the stuff outside of my bag. There's the stuff that I picked up on day 1 that I did not put back into my bag for day 2. I got one other t-shirt. I wanted to get one of the Warped Tour, like, tour shirts. They had one that was like purple tie-dye and it had a big eyeball on it, and the eyeball had a deadlock, but they sold out. It's very sad, so I'll probably try and order one online. But I also like to support the bands I see, so I have this Scowl shirt, and I also got a Fever 333 shirt. I think Scowl and Fever 333 were my favorite bands that I saw all weekend. Obviously I really liked everybody I saw, but Fever 333, they're just amazing. They have just such insane energy and stage presence, and you know, they're very social justice oriented, and because of what was happening on Saturday, they were very fired up. They got the audience very fired up. It was a great show. I also picked up a program. These are really nice. They're like a book. And they're made to look like the 80-page giant comic books. So it's got a bunch of cartoon pictures of band members on the cover, and then it has the classic Warped Tour arrow. And on the inside, oh, I didn't even see this. Warped Tour bingo. We should fill that out at the end. The Sharpie is in the bottom of my bag, so I can't grab it right now. But we'll go back to that. I didn't look through the program very much because I was kind of just moving around. And also the program is for all three dates. So it depicts some artists that aren't playing at our date, or that weren't playing. Talks about some new bands we saw when we were there. We missed Point North because we had to leave. It's a nice booklet. They were also giving out free sticker packs that I haven't opened yet. So let's open it up. Let me pause this. Okay, so I got them out. Let's do this Pokemon card style. We have We have a octopus. We have a flaming heart that says warped 30. We have some skateboards that form a heart. The classic warped arrow. What is this? A lizard on a piece of pizza. And finally, they came with a patch that said warped 30. I have not as many stickers, but I have some ones that look like this, sort of, from the warped tours I went to when I was a teenager. So that's fun. It's just so fun being there. They were also giving out free Narcan. And if you don't know, Narcan is a emergency treatment that will reverse an opioid overdose. They gave us training on it. This goes into your nostril. Push it up, and you do it when you have confirmed that someone is in opioid overdose. That means pinpoint pupils. That means unresponsive. You can do a main test by rubbing your knuckles on their sternum, which is actually quite painful. And if they do not respond, you know that they are in opioid overdose. So I always carry Narcan around with me anyway. Nice to restock. Or not restock, I haven't used it, but I always have it. And it's nice to have some newer ones. You know, the ones I have are almost a year old, so good to replace them. Alright, that is everything outside of my bag. So let's unpack the bag, okay? I'm gonna take my water bottle out because it has the name of the school that I work at. I don't really want to share that with you guys. But yeah, definitely bring a water bottle, you know. Put it right next to me. In several shows, there were people working Warped Tour who were just pitching these emergency water bags into the crowd. It's drinking water, and it's just in a little bag. You can open it and drink it. I didn't use mine because I brought a water bottle. But they really want you to stay hydrated. They don't want people passing out in the crowd, especially because people are moshing, people are, you know, all up in each other's spaces, being very physical, very, you know, cardio in the crowd. But it was fun. Everyone like put up their hands and they'd pitch you a bag full of water. Very smart, I think. Also in the bag is just a long sleeve shirt because it was quite cold yesterday. Or not cold, it was chilly and rainy. And I have my portable charger. This charged my phone really fast. It is from the brand Keepify or Cheapfied, I don't know. And this was definitely good to have. Definitely good to have. I cannot complain. I'm trying to get like the other stuff I packed out first. My sunglasses. I have prescription sunglasses because I am very blind. I have terrible vision. I think it's like negative 4.5 in both eyes. It's not great. It's not great. But my sunglasses are these aviator grandpa glasses. I got them last summer. Also, if you have been to Warped Tour before, you know that Feed Our Children works with them, and if you bring in 3 cans or $5, they will give you the speed you through the line, kind of early, quicker access to getting into the festival. So on day 2, they were handing out these clear string bags. Oh, it's all tangled. There we go. That says Feed Our Children Now. Tour edition. And it was very nice. This is definitely a good concert bag, seeing as it's clear and rather small. It definitely smells pretty strong though. Just fold that back up. And then I always have a poncho in my festival bag. This is my poncho. It's pretty good quality as far as ponchos go. I actually didn't end up having to use it because my dad and I are definitely the kind of people. Oh, I went with my dad. We went a lot. I'm not sure if I said that. He's been my concert buddy my whole life. We go to a lot of shows together. And he was the one who took me to Warped Tour when I was a teenager. So we went together, but we tend to go to Warped Tour for the smaller bands and leave before the nighttime bigger bands, because we're there for the experience, you know. And I had a 2.5-hour drive back to Philadelphia last night, but we had to go back to Frederick first, to go back to Maryland first. So we also stayed in a hotel Saturday night to Sunday so that we wouldn't have to drive back because it was a 2-day festival. And the funny thing about the hotel stay was that at about 2 o'clock in the morning, my dad and I both woke up and the hotel room was so hot because the heat had come on inexplicably in the middle of the night. It was like 85 degrees in the room, if not more. It was horrible. And we couldn't fix it. My dad was like messing with the air conditioning unit, and it was like stuck on the heat setting. So we had to call the front desk and get a guy to come up to our room and fix our AC unit. So we didn't exactly have a restful night between festival days, and we were so tired and rushed when we were packing up the hotel room in the morning that I forgot to put on deodorant, which is gross. But fortunately, Warped Tour has a tent that's like a general store, and it sells everything from like pads and tampons to painkillers to Pepto to deodorant to snacks and anything you might need at Warped Tour. So bought a little travel deodorant so that I wouldn't be stinky in the crowd. And it's good to have a little travel deodorant anyway. I've been meaning to get one. Also in my bag, I have a microfiber towel. I'm not gonna take it out because it would be too hard to get back in. And again, we left it before the rain, so I didn't really need it, but it's nice to have, you know. And I also brought my film camera. The numbers are kind of messed up. I don't really understand what happened because it's not like it popped open or anything. Hopefully it's fine. But I hope the pictures turn out. I also took some pictures on my phone, obviously, but because I am filming on my phone, I can't exactly show them to you. Alright, also emergency socks. Always good to have emergency socks. I did not have them on day 1, and if you don't live near DC, you might not know, but DC was built on a swamp. It's basically just kind of a secret swamp, and it had rained Friday night into Saturday morning, so anywhere that wasn't paved on the festival grounds, they'd put plastic tiles over top of it to prevent mud holes and stuff. But I was walking in, I had just gotten through security, and I stepped on one of the plastic tiles, and it must have had a lot of muddy water underneath, and they had little holes in them to help with, like, drying things out, ventilation, and a bunch of gross muddy water like spurted up through the holes all was very unfortunate. Also, so I brought extra socks the second day, and I didn't need them because I knew what to avoid. I brought gel sunscreen and a stick sunscreen, and I still got sunburned. But yeah, Warped Tour is such a fun time, and there's, everyone there is so happy to be there. The people attending, the people playing, everyone's just super hyped. On Sunday morning, one of the first bands of the day was a band called Straight Jacket from California, and I listened to a few of their songs when I was doing my Warped Tour homework, and the lead singer really sounds like Billy Joe Armstrong from Green Day. I think he might be trying to sound like him a little bit, but I'm not complaining. I really like their sound. I like their songs. So I was quite excited to see Straight Jacket. It was nice because no one really knew them, so there weren't a lot of people in the crowd. But the lead singer was so excited. He was so happy to be there. It was so endearing. He couldn't believe it. This is the biggest crowd I've ever played for. I used to be a Warped Tour kid myself. I'm still a Warped Tour kid. I'm gonna be out there with you guys for the rest of the day. And he was just like giddy. It was so cute. He was really young too, and a lot of people are like that at Warped Tour, and especially this year because it's been on hiatus for a while. They had sort of a anniversary revival for the 25th anniversary about 5 years ago, and then before that they'd stopped their annual summer tours, I believe in 2018. That was the last one I went to. So a lot of people were just so excited, and I saw We the Kings, and We the Kings were talking about, like, please bring Warped Tour back, please, we want it back so bad. And, there was a band from Philly there called Sweet Bill who I saw, and she was so just like couldn't believe it was happening. Warped Tour is so iconic and means so much to so many people, and it was just so wonderful to be there surrounded by people who were so excited and so happy. That's always been sort of the best part of Warped Tour, is just kind of the vibes of the people around you and stuff. So it was really fun. They also had an unplugged tent, which I want to talk about next. And the unplugged tent is sort of bringing it back to kind of the roots of Warped Tour, where it's like more acoustic sets and artists that aren't necessarily the rock punk vibe of Warped Tour. And they're doing artsy stuff. It was like a tent with some fake fake grass put down, so people would go there for like some respite, and we'd go and just like sit on the fake grass, and there was a spray paint wall, and there was a little like craft project thing, and there were bands playing on the stage that were like a lot more, interactive. It was a lot closer. They were doing like looping and like building songs, and I saw Lady Gang there who did a lot of looping, and I also saw Myverse, who is a battle rapper from Florida, and she was so cool. She raps in both English and Spanish. And during her set, she was like stopping people who were just passing by the tent. They were just stopping to watch her because she was like so magnetic. And they also, you know, they had some comedians. I didn't see any of the comedy shows, but they had some comedians at the Unplugged stage. They had some people who were like working for programs or charities. There was some, you know, Narcan training stuff going on there. It was such a nice, positive space, and it was such a good, like, such a good thing for them to have there. I really liked it. And then obviously there were artist alleys. There was a half pipe where people were doing skateboarding. There were also some like motorbike guys doing really crazy tricks off a ramp. They're just like, you'd be like watching a show and then you'd turn around and there'd be like motorcycles flying through the air. I love Warped Tour so much. I do, and I think a lot of people kind of like do talk crap about it. But I feel like the people who talk crap about it either didn't go or didn't go with the right mindset. It's all about finding new music. It's all about community. It's all about, you know, just being around like-minded people. And, you know, I fell down in the pit for a scowl. I got absolutely just, I don't think I have a little bit of a bruise. It's coming in. I got absolutely rocked in the shoulder by this guy who was probably like, you know, twice my size. And he just like swung his arm back and just like rocked me. And I got like knocked over, and immediately people are helping you up because that's what being in a pit should be, you know. You gotta look out for your people in the pit. And, you know, there was, you know, circle pits are so fun. I was in a circle pit for Dance Hall Crashers where everybody was just like having so much fun and laughing, and you know, you have these punks in the pit wearing their battle jackets that have been in the scene for like 30-40 years, and then you have like these teenagers who have never been to Warped Tour before in the pit, and it's just like a community. It's so fun. But anyway, I got a tote bag at the Unplugged stage. It says Unplugged on it, and it says be kind, which was sort of the slogan of the Unplugged stage. And it's got like the capital on it because it was in DC, but like, ew, you know, and the dates. And they made it like this so you could color it in. They had a bunch of Posca markers, and the only way to get this tote bag was to color on a bandana first, like a blank bandana. So I went up and I got one. They had a bunch of stencils for like with like the Warped Tour branding on them and DC stuff on them. But I'm not big on stencils, you guys know this. I like to do my own art. So I was sketching this out. I did this on day 2, so a lot of the Posca markers were dried out. So I didn't have a lot of color options. And it's a little bit messy. But as I was drawing it, the guy running the booth came up behind me and was running the craft table at the event at the Youngblood stage, and he was like, "Hey, would you like to decorate a van? Because we're doing a contest where people decorate vans and the winner gets a gift card. And looks like you might want to do it." I was like, "Absolutely, sure." So I also decorated a van, as in a Vans shoe, because it is Vans Warped Tour. But they announced the winners at 8 o'clock, and we had already left by then, so I didn't take my shoe home or see who won. It definitely wasn't me. Let's be clear about that. There are so many artsy people at Warped Tour, and so many talented people. There were people with like really amazing makeup on, and people with just, I don't, there's some really cool people. So, but it was really fun that he kind of picked me out and was like, you should do this. And also, while I was drawing the bandana, I had a person with very cool makeup come up to me and ask me if I had an art Instagram, and asked if they could follow it, and I was like, absolutely. So I like wrote it in their phone, and it was really sweet. It was very, very nice. Also, if you are wondering, my art Instagram is at WegDraws, WegDraws, WegDraws. We're getting down to the bottom of the bag. Here's my hat. It is a Bird Collective hat. It's got a little birdie on it and some flowers on the back, and it's all embroidered. Also, my early access, sort of, from the Feed Our Children's can thing, bracelet. It says Washington, D.C. Vans Warped Tour on it. Also got a temporary tattoo that says Young and Dumb. And what's left in my bag is just granola bars. Always good to have granola bars on you, you know. So, now that we're getting to the end, let's see if I got Warped Tour bingo. Let's see. Get my Sharpie out. It is bingo. Our first square says band member jumps into the crowd, which I did not see, so I'm not gonna check that off. Our second one is surprise guest appears. I also did not see that one. But this one is circle pit forms. I'm not gonna cross it off because I still want to read it. So I'm circling that one. This one says discover a new band. That is the whole reason I go to Warped Tour. I didn't see anyone who I had seen before. The closest I came was We the Kings, because they had played at previous Warped Tours. But I actually didn't see them because I was always at a different show that I wanted to see just a little bit more than We the Kings. I did see Less Than Jake's set from a distance, And you know what? I did see State Champs. I had seen State Champs before at Warped Tour. They are classic Warped Tour, you know. But almost everyone else I saw, I either hadn't heard of before Warped Tour or hadn't seen before Warped Tour. This one says crowd collectively singing a song. This one's seen the most for Check Yes Juliet at the We the Kings show, and also for Face Down at the Red Jumpsuit Apparatus show. The Red Jumpsuit Apparatus show was crazy. There were so many people. They were like spilling out of the area designated for the crowd in front of the stage into the walkway, into where the tents were set up, into the food tents. It was just this absolute mass of people. It was nuts. Lose your friends. I lost my dad a couple times. Band covers a song. We the Kings covered Mr. Brightside. I lucked out in that I did not see any technical difficulties causing a delay. Someone crowd surfs in a weird costume. Saw a girl crowd surfing in a hot dog costume. Yesterday there were also a group of friends dressed up as Teletubbies with mustaches, though I did not see any of them crowd surfing. I did not see fan proposes during a set. I did see security guard vibing to a song. I did see band throws merch or water into the crowd. Also, the cute thing with the Myverse set is she had oranges, like the fruit, that she had written Myverse on, and she was throwing them into the crowd. It was really cute. And we got the free space. Someone has an OG Vans Warped Tour shirt on. Definitely saw quite a bit of those. I did not see a band inviting someone on the stage, but I'm sure that happened. This one says sign that says free hugs or similar. I saw several people with shirts that said free hugs. Random inflatable object in the pit. I saw both an inflatable doll and also an inflatable dog that I hope was not a doll. I hope it was just an inflatable dog, but I wouldn't put it past. Fans aggressively reapplying sunscreen. For sure. I saw an acoustic set because I was at the Unplugged stage for a while. Artist spotted watching another band. I saw that at the Unplugged stage as well. So that is bingo right there. But let's do the last line. Lost shoe found in the pit. I didn't find one. Someone brags about how many Vans Warped Tours they've been to. I didn't see that. I am 100% sure it happened though. I did see a DIY band handing out demos. It was right as I was walking in, and he was trying to hand out his demos. He was like, one day I'm gonna I did not have a Kevin Lyman sighting, but I did get plenty of things for free. So I circled a lot, but I only got one bingo. But that is still bingo. So I don't think there's any other activities in here though. But I should write attended. Write it on the inside. I'm not gonna write it on the cover. I like to get a to just kind of write down which venue I went to, even though I probably will not forget. So I'm going to write down Washington, D.C. on this final page. That's actually a advertisement. With my dad. And then I'll probably go back and write down all the bands that I saw. Run to Washington, D.C. with my dad. Alright, so that was me unpacking for the most part my festival bag. Oh, also, this bin is for the Punk Rock Museum in Las Vegas. I did not go, they had a tent set up. But long story short, I really hope